Oh, good. I get to redo that.
Should be fun to talk about. Is the tweet out yet?
Still not.
One of them is. There it is. Here we go. And live. What's going on, everybody? Friday, December 28th. 10 game slate. I knew that. 10 game slate today. Hopefully a little bit better than yesterday's. The early games not so awesome, but we're closing out with a pretty interesting stretch of the final five, so that should be fun to talk about. Adam, how did your Thursday shake out?
Not bad. Obviously, at least like fun basketball games to watch. Got a decent amount of stuff right. Not enough to win anything, but it wasn't too bad. What about you?
Didn't go well. Didn't go well at all. Had a lot of the right pieces, nothing in the right combination, which is, never the way that you want to do it. I woke up and looked through all the box scores. I was like, okay, that works. Cool, like this should look pretty good. Then I opened it up and was like, nope, didn't look very good. Zubats didn't help. That's for sure. I didn't expect the full. I don't want to say bagel because he didn't bagel, but like, I didn't expect a dreadful game, and it was pretty dreadful.
I mean, it's just one of those things where stuff happens. Like so basically the Lakers play 48 minutes of traditional centers against the Warriors, who don't play a center. And then against the Kings, who play nothing but centers, I turn on the game and we have Bielitsa playing the 5.
Yeah, it's
against like Kuzma.
Gotta love it. Yeah, Kyle in YouTube chat said no Josh Engelman at the top of Yahoo yesterday. That's for sure. Nope, not so much.
Did you at least play Yahoo? You had a Yahoo yesterday? I didn't even get in.
It's all I played.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My parents just left this morning, so I wasn't about to like bounce between multiple sites.
Yeah.
While they were here, so I've just been playing Yahoo. And if they're gonna keep jamming in this overlay, like it's the first spot I'm going each morning too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I intended on playing it yesterday, and like I pulled up the screen, I went to register, and then I got sidetracked, registered DraftKings, FanDuel, and then I was like talking in chat, and someone asked about Yahoo, and I was like, oh, I think I forgot to register that. And this is at like 1:30, and they're like, oh, well, it's already full. So
yeah, I've been jamming them in immediately each morning, except in YouTube chat says, Josh, what happened with Luke Cornett? I didn't check. You said don't play him. Did it work? I don't know if you're trolling me or not, but fantastic. Yeah, for the people that played Luke Cornett, it worked. I stand by my take. If you expected him to shoot the most shots on the team, still get beat by 15 or whatever the final score was, and go 7 of 11 from 3, like kudos to you. I wouldn't have expected that against the Bucks. Clearly. Yeah, the Cornett did not go well for me. Although I would assume like you didn't necessarily need him.
You didn't. Like Harden, and I mean obviously he helped a lot, but
sure.
Like Harden and Giannis didn't do enough compared to like Durant and Simmons that you had to have that. You had to have him because you got 40 points from a million different guys.
Yeah, I didn't look at the standings of the Yahoo tournament or not. I wanted to see if he was in the winning lineup. Now my phone's going slow. I feel like I have your internet.
It's not a fun place to be.
He was in there. 13% owned on Yahoo. Yeah, like 36 points. You're looking for him to hit 30. So you got there. Congrats to everyone that played Luke Cornett. I'm the asshole on this one. I'll take it. I played absolutely 0 of him. No qualms. I'm here. I'll take my lumps. I'm here every day. Let's get into it. We've got too much to talk about, and these first couple are going to be a slog. Charlotte Hornets taking on the Brooklyn Nets. First and foremost, like the video, comment, NBA Strategies, the promo code, 7-day free trial. We're presented by Thrive. At the end of this show, we will go to thrivefantasy.com and we'll check out some props. Thrive's a new fantasy site. Why am I not logged in? Oh, yeah, I rebooted my computer. Thrive's a new fantasy site where you'll pick 10 player props out of 20. This is football. I'm not that interested in Tom Brady's passing yards. So, NBA contest not up. Oh, we'll talk about the football ones then. We're giving Thrive football props if those NBA ones aren't up by the time we're done.
Normally they come up like halfway through our show.
Okay. Got to pick 10 props out of 20, picking whether you're going over or under on a particular player. In this case, Tom Brady at 270.5 passing yards. So you get points whether you go over and under, and you have to kind of think about where the field's going to be, and that's sort of a game theory piece of all of this. So it's an interesting balance. I love taking a look at them to see how my projections are balancing up to the lines that they're setting. So at the end of the show, Alex, Jesus, it's going to be a long day. We got a lot of shows coming up, including Alex on the contrary. Adam and I will break down our 5 favorite props. So now we can get started. 112.75 implied total for the Hornets, 108.25 for the Nets. I feel like the Hornets and the Nets play like every day.
Well, that's because they played 6 quarters the last time they played.
That'll do it. That's a game and a half. Well, it's not a game and a half, but wait, is it a game and a half? No. 6. You mean 6 periods?
It's like almost 5 quarters.
Yeah, okay. I was like, wait, did they go to 5 overtimes?
No.
We'll start on the Hornets side. 4-point favorites at home is kind of surprising against the Nets, but the Nets are solid. Kemba, 9,800 on FanDuel, 9,100 on DraftKings, $40 on Yahoo. Look, it's just still tournament only. He's priced too high, and the DraftKings price going up is even really less appealing.
Yeah, I agree completely. I mean, especially because like on DraftKings, his price is going up, but there are some still really underpriced guys on the site in general. So it makes it even tougher to get there. Really, I think he's probably most appealing if you like game stack this game and hope that you get double overtime again.
Yeah.
But as far as like a standalone play, I imagine it'll be pretty tough to get to Kemba.
Completely agree. It's just I don't have a problem with him in this game or anything. It's just his price is too high, and it's really hard to hit the ceiling that he needs, which is like 60 fantasy points.
Right.
Do you have any real interest in anything from the Hornets side? I don't really see much outside of maybe Jeremy Lamb for $21 on Yahoo. Otherwise, like everybody's just sort of priced where they should be.
Yeah, I was going to say Lamb's the one that I think is interesting just because he's playing so many minutes right now. With Malik Monk currently not really in the rotation. He got back in last game against Brooklyn, but didn't play a ton. But you got, basically 39 minutes in regulation from Jeremy Lamb. He's just playing a ton of minutes right now, and the price tag's come up a little bit, but I still think that he's reasonable. I think that Cody Zeller's okay as a point per dollar value at 4,500 on DraftKings. Still don't love his upside, but played 33 minutes against Brooklyn last time, all in regulation, and in competitive games where he hasn't been in foul trouble, we're seeing him normally play around 30. So I think he's a fine point per dollar play, but it's the same thing we always say with him. Like it's just so unusual for him to like eclipse 30 points, where it makes it tough in tournaments to really, really like him.
Yeah, same page here. There's just the Hornets are the Hornets. I mean, these two teams are very similar in that it's rare that anyone on the team outside of an injury situation just immediately looks fantastic. They're always kind of the same. There's not a lot of fluctuation in what they do. I don't know. I find both of these teams incredibly underwhelming. Sorry, Charlotte. I'm disrespecting the state like that. Do you have anybody you want to point out from Charlotte at all otherwise?
No. I mean, Marvin Williams' price tags come up enough where I know he had a really good game last time. I know it's a good matchup. He's been playing better. He's getting more minutes at center. But it's just not a priority with his price tag rising.
Here we go. On the Brooklyn side, have to talk about D'Angelo Russell, 6,800 on FanDuel, 7K on DK, and $23 on Yahoo. I'm in here. I think there's a lot of value on the net side, particularly on the Yahoo site. But what do you want to do with Russell right now?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like we say the same thing about Russell like every single day. Yeah. He's going to play somewhere between 26 and 32 or 34 minutes, in large part dependent on game flow and how he's playing. Last game, he didn't even step on the floor in either of those overtimes. Spencer Dinwiddie went absolutely nuts. You kind of get the hot hand between him and Dinwiddie for a certain like amount of minutes, but the upside's still there, and the uncertainty keeps his price tag down. So in tournaments, when you have someone like Russell around $7,000, there's just so much upside there. It makes it really, really hard to ignore him, even though there's a lot of volatility.
Yeah, $23 on Yahoo is... I'm in for that for sure. There's a lot of room to breathe there.
Spencer Dinwiddie is finally more expensive than Russell on DraftKings. I wonder. I'm really interested to see where ownership comes in there.
I would guess Russell would be like significantly more owned. But yeah, Dinwiddie across the board, $600 on FanDuel, $300 on DK, and $1 on Yahoo.
Yeah. I'm just like Dinwiddie's coming off that 60-point game against this team. People love their game logs.
Yeah. I love Dinwiddie too. I mean, they've been
Oh yeah,
essentially the same person over the last 30 days. 1.06 fantasy points per minute for Russell, 1.05 for Dinwiddie. So flip the coin and I don't know, play the ownership game is probably the easiest way to do this one.
yeah, I agree. I do think that as far as ceiling goes, Russell still is higher,
Yeah.
just because you like Dinwiddie. I think is the more steady producer, but you still have the higher assist percentage, the higher usage for Russell. It's just a matter of obviously his minutes and the ball going in.
Agreed. What do you want to do with Kuruks? Because he's $12 again on Yahoo, and I expect to have him a ton, much like I did whatever day that was where I had him a ton 2 days ago, 3 days ago. I can't keep track of time any longer.
Yeah, play him on Yahoo at $12. 5,200 on DraftKings. There's no way. I mean, I said the same thing at 4,600, and it obviously backfired. But I think the important takeaway from that game is, yeah, he played out of his mind. He played 39 minutes, including 10 from overtime. So you still got the, between 28 and 29 minutes in regulation that we expected. And unless you're projecting this guy to be much more than a point per minute guy, there's just no way I'm getting to him at this price tag.
Right. Yeah. Got to pay attention to price. That's essential. And at $12, it's going to be really hard for him to kill you.
Yeah. And very easy for him to kill you in the opposite direction if you don't have him.
Yep. And on a slate like this, with him not even being like the flat minimum being at 12, I get the feeling like Kuruks is the type of guy that can slip through the cracks and be a relatively low-owned value play on Yahoo. Not exactly the sexiest name or the sexiest team.
Yeah. As a little bit of a tangent to that, how have you been approaching the Yahoo tournaments with the overlay as far as, strategy goes and ownership?
I've basically tried to not even think about it. Not the strategy portion, but not think of like the ownership portion. With so much overlay, I'm just taking the priority of trusting my numbers and assuming that people will not play good value enough. It does seem like some guys are then becoming like dramatically over-owned. There's probably an extra step that I should take to like at least think about if there's a pivot directly at that salary level that seems like he should be owned, relatively equally. But for now, I think just jamming in the best that you can in the 10 lineup set is going to get you further, just because it's so much easier to cash.
Yeah, that's been my approach too. And then I've also just been getting my ass beat on Yahoo, so I didn't know if maybe you were doing things differently, and I should actually like incorporate things other than who I think is going to score the most points.
I mean, I had one day where I had one of those lineups get loose and finished. I can't remember now, but ultimately I 5x'd for the day on Yahoo, which is, carrying me through a ton of profit on Yahoo at this point. So everything else has just been kind of fine. And I think that's okay with me. I don't feel the need to you definitely don't have to go dumpster diving. Like there's plenty of value out there every night in realistic spots, but there's probably some leverage to be had in like the $25 to $40 price range of guys where you can get off what would pretty obviously be the chalk to another guy that we think has a similar ceiling that is probably not going to get that sort of love. We'll try to point something like that out as we get to it. Let me sort the Yahoo table by price so that if we get to someone that we think will be big time chalk. So like Dinwiddie's $24, Lonzo's $23, D'Angelo Russell is $23. I would imagine that Lonzo's ownership out of those three guys at that salary tier at point guard will many multiples above both of those guys, particularly Russell, I guess. So I'd feel most comfortable getting to Russell out of that trio and maybe limiting Ball a little bit. Although I just think that, Lonzo is in a very unique situation.
Yeah, that it wasn't the best example as far as players.
It was a real dog shit example once I got started, but I felt like I needed to continue to go with it.
I think also it probably depends, like as far as viewers go, probably depends on like kind of what you're doing overall for the night. I imagine that with all the overlay on Yahoo and it being easier to cash, that the time and not having CSV uploads and stuff, the time it takes to like make those pivots and everything. If you're playing a bunch on other sites, it might not be worth your while. But if you're playing, if you're just playing Yahoo and that's your focus for the night, and you have that extra time to go in and really by hand figure some of those pivots out, it probably is still a good idea.
Yeah. Ignore everything I just said because I'm a moron.
Replace Lonzo Ball with like some other name that isn't going to
Someone
score
that's not going to get
15 points.
36 minutes easy
Yeah,
because half the team's hurt.
yeah,
Whatever. Anybody else from Brooklyn? Jared Allen, $18 on Yahoo. It's appealing to me, but he's still Jared Allen. I don't know.
yeah.
Probably.
That's where I am. I'm trying to that last that last game on Popcorn Machine's just such a mess. I'm trying to figure out what happened at center. Um, it looks like we got yeah. Okay, so Rondé Hollis Jefferson went nuts last game,
Yeah.
but I don't care about the result as much as I care about the fact he played 32 and a half minutes in regulation. And as soon as I saw that happen, I just felt like the biggest idiot for not like expecting it because like I mentioned, we were talking about Charlotte.
Marvin
Marvin Williams
Williams.
is getting more time at center. What'd you say?
I was saying Marvin Williams. I saw where
Yeah,
you were going with this.
yeah. Marvin Williams is getting more time at center. Um, Ed Davis can match up there, but Hollis Jefferson, clearly can as well. And it seems like that's the route they went last game. So I would expect them to do the same thing here, especially because it worked out so well. I think that obviously, if you're going to get 30 to 32 minutes around the Hollis Jefferson with some of those minutes at the five, then he's a pretty appealing play.
What do you have his minutes at right now?
I just bumped it to 30.
Okay, because I have him in for 25 right now. Giving him one or two additional minutes is probably not the worst idea.
Yeah, I'm double checking just to make sure like Allen didn't get in tons of foul trouble. He didn't. Yeah, I mean, it definitely just seems like it was rotation based. Like Hollis Jefferson closed that game at center, actually against Cody Zeller. So
Shit.
that makes me feel even better.
Yeah, I'm trying. Who are you taking? What do you have Jared Allen at? 27?
I'd have to cut him back to like 26, I guess, and then um, really take minutes from Ed Davis.
Okay. I made that little adjustment, and if I do that, I think that Hollis Jefferson looks pretty nice on Yahoo. $17, 5,700 and 5,300 on FanDuel and DK respectively. I think he's fine there. If you get him, great, but not totally a priority either.
Yeah, no, I agree. I wish the price was a little bit cheaper, but because like at this price, you need to get those minutes. Like you need the rotation to play out exactly the same, and then you also need him to be very productive.
Yeah, 40-point games from Rondé Hollis Jefferson are not exactly like commonplace. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh god.
Yeah, the rotation, like Jared Dudley having to get minutes, has just made it so hard to consistently roster Hollis Jefferson. Like last year, I loved the guy when they were intentionally playing these small lineups. They were playing him at the five a lot,
Yeah.
and going small, and he was getting 30 plus minutes. But now you have Jared Dudley like being forced to play X amount of minutes, and it just makes it really tough.
Yeah, he's a fantasy black hole.
Yep.
All right, let's move on. Malice in the Palace. Indiana Pacers hosting. Well, it's not in the Palace. This one's in Indiana. Pacers hosting the Pistons. 106.5 implied total for the Pacers. 99.5 for the Pistons. Second lowest on the slate. Lowest of all the teams that are real basketball teams. We'll start with the Pacers side. Victor Oladipo, 8,700 on FanDuel, 8,300 on DK, $35 on Yahoo. What do you want to do with Oladipo? Because I can't stop getting him in crunches, and I'm not even upset about it. I just don't like playing the Pacers because I don't trust the team.
Yeah, I mean that, and then it's been enough games now where I don't want to totally ignore Oladipo's usage either.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about it last time, but it's just such. I hate spots like this in DFS, and it just makes it something that I really want to try and gauge ownership because I think it's a legitimate concern that Oladipo has said he's not 100%. It probably is not a coincidence that since coming back from injury, his usage percentage is like 5 or 6 percentage points lower than for the season. So it makes him, obviously a riskier play. But at the same time, that's going to change at some point. He's not going to come out before a game and be like, "Hey guys, I'm 100% today. I'm about to go take a bunch of shots." So if he starts being low owned, then I want to jump on it. But if he's going to still be really popular and people are still going to project him like a fully healthy Oladipo who's got a 30.5% usage rate, then being under the field, especially in a game that's as unappealing as this one, probably makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, his ownership will be very important to me. Let me see. Do we have ownership yet? We do. Let me grab that now. At the very least, we'll have FanDuel and DraftKings. And I mentioned last night on the live stream, we're looking to have Yahoo ownership within the next month. Not ever something that we were really looking at, but if they're going to keep jamming in all this additional money, we're going to prioritize it as we should.
22.5% usage against Atlanta for Oladipo last game. So I was actually fully expecting to pull it up and see that what I just said was completely wrong, and he had like a 40% usage rate. But nope, he continued to just not shoot the ball.
There you go. Oladipo 11% on FanDuel, 4% on DraftKings. Got to assume that I'd have no problem for that DK price, 8,300 and only 4%. That's the kind of spot where you want to get him.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it's still, it wouldn't be a core play for me anyway. I don't think. Like, it's still a really unappealing spot against what's actually a pretty good Detroit defense and just a really slow paced game. But the price tag's cheap enough where if he is going to be low owned, he gives you plenty of upside.
Adam from Thrive said Thrive props are up. Sometimes come in a little late, but always by 10 a.m. Eastern. No apologies necessary, Adam. We will hit those one way or the other. And we'll happily go to football. Final NFL week coming. We could talk NFL props if we need to. Anything else from Indiana? I'm getting one guy more than I would ever expect, and that's Thad Young. 6K on FanDuel, 57 on DK, $21 on Yahoo. He's also garnering some ownership, but I actually haven't projected like a full 1/10 of a point per minute below his rates over the last 30 days, and I'm still getting him. So I'm wondering if you were looking at any Thad.
He's not popping for me, which I'm really happy about. I had entirely too much against Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't ever like getting him.
Yeah. I justified it against Atlanta because it was Montrezl Harrell chalk night at the same price. And I was like, oh, whatever. I'll just shove in a bunch of Thad Young and a couple other guys and hope that Harrell doesn't score 48 points in 26 minutes. But yeah, no, I don't really see getting to Thad Young here.
Okay. Anybody else from Indiana?
Not really. This game just sucks.
It does.
Collison's price is still cheap, but obviously it's a much different spot than Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't care if someone popped up in 1 or 2% of stuff, but outside of Oladipo, I'm going to have a hard time prioritizing anything here. They're all just
have these two teams played recently? I guess I can figure that out pretty quickly, but I didn't know if you knew.
I have no idea.
I was just thinking it's a spot where potentially, like with a Blake and Drummond front court to match up against, you potentially could get more Sabonis alongside Turner.
They haven't played this year.
Excellent. All right, well, you could potentially get more Sabonis alongside Turner.
Let's go to the Pistons. We'll tackle the big two to start. 9,700 for Drummond, 8,600 on DK, $41 on Yahoo. Blake, 94, 84, and 40. I think this is pretty much the same story. If you want either of those guys, it's fine. I don't really see anything appealing regardless. 99.5 implied total is dreadful. Pacers defense is fantastic. It just feels like there's better spots to grab.
Yeah, that's where I'm at as well. The price tags on DraftKings are really appealing. Like, I don't want to ignore that. You know, 8,400 on Blake and 86 on Drummond. It's the matchup sucks, but it's just really tough for those guys not to at least give you a serviceable score. And bad matchups don't preclude people from hitting ceilings. It just makes it less likely. But obviously, the ceiling or the score that you're aiming for is lower when you're talking about Blake Griffin being almost $1,000 less expensive. So their DraftKings prices make it so I'll probably end up getting a decent amount of them just because of the price.
Okay. Yeah, like those are two guys where you're never upset that you get them, but this is not the smash spot of all smash spots, that's for sure. And yeah, Blake garnering 14% expected ownership right now, like that would keep me, I wouldn't want to be over that number in this spot.
Yeah, I'm getting them both projected for between like 42 and 44 DraftKings points right now.
Yeah.
So they come in as, good but not great.
Would you rather have Blake or Victor Oladipo?
Blake. I think the minutes are similar. I think Blake is just more involved in everything than Oladipo right now.
Okay. I'd probably go to Oladipo just because of the ownership discount if we're talking about DraftKings. And it's
Yeah,
not
that's
like
fair.
it's a gigantic discount or anything. 14-4 is not so extreme that it's going to like super change your night, but
I think I actually have Oladipo. Yeah, I have Oladipo projected higher, which I hate. I need to probably adjust that. But
fair enough. All right, let's get out of this game and go to another not awesome game. The Orlando Magic hosting the Toronto Raptors. 103.5 implied total for the Magic. 106.5 for the Raptors. Start with Vooch. 9,100 on FanDuel. 8,200 on DK. $41 on Yahoo. On the surface, I like Vooch a lot, but he's not grading out as anything super spectacular for me. So I'm wondering if you're looking at him any different.
yeah, I'm getting him as a really good play on DraftKings at 8,200.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been just so good. I mean, this season, but especially over the last month. 23% rebounding rate at 28.5% usage rate, and then picking up a bunch of assists as well. It's the only knock on him is that he probably plays like 32 minutes, but yeah, it's really tough for me not to like him. I would rather play him than Griffin. I'd rather play him than Drummond. I'd rather play him than Oladipo.
Yeah, I completely agree there. He should. I mean, it's a good spot for him individually. I don't necessarily think this is a great spot for the Magic, even with Kyle Lowry out. Any interest in Aaron Gordon? 7K on FanDuel, 6,500 on DraftKings, and $26 on Yahoo. I like him on any site.
Yeah, it's okay. I doubt that I really get there too much. Like the price tag on DraftKings obviously looks appealing, but there's just guys in that price range because everyone's underpriced on DraftKings.
I just realized that my site calculations aren't coming through. I don't know why. Oh, that makes sense. Somehow deleted the entire column. Not even sure how I could have done that.
It feels like a Monday morning, but it's a Friday.
Yeah, I think I'm happy about that it's Friday, but like days are all the same, so it really I don't have weekends anymore. Every day's simultaneously the weekend and a Wednesday.
Yeah. I mean, Saturday is like the day from hell for me, so it being Fridays doesn't get me too excited.
Let me grab this formula out of my yesterday sheet so that I can still see who's priced better on certain sites. Not that I can't visualize it at this point, but when your eyes get used to something.
See, I mean, for context, I have Aaron Gordon projected for like 35.5 on DraftKings right now. I have Vooch for like 47. So even with the price difference, I would rather have Vooch.
It's close for me. I have them essentially as similar valued plays, but Vooch with double the ownership. So I'd be a little bit more interested in Aaron Gordon here. But it's not like anything in this game is super appealing. Like if you want to punt with Terrence Ross on Yahoo or DJ Augustin on Yahoo, they're both flat 10. Go for it, I guess. You'll find better value out there, but there's not a ton to like here outside of Vooch's literal ceiling.
Yeah, these first two games feel like we're like finding guys that we like, and then by the end of the show, we're going to forget that those games even existed because we liked guys so much more from other games.
Yeah, like from Minnesota on, when we start talking about this, there's a lot more than all of the sea of low-scoring, slow-paced nonsense.
Right.
The 7:00 slate.
It's a lock that one of these games hits 3 overtimes, though.
Oh yeah, and it'll be I don't know whatever one I have the least of.
Right. It'll be whichever one I make a note to make sure I make game stacks, and then like I run out of time or something.
Yeah, and then I get the message like I didn't get the game stack Pacers Pistons like I wanted to, and then it's 144, 142 in triple overtime.
Yeah,
Blake and Drummond both went for 80. Raptors side 10-3 for Kawhi on FanDuel, 9,200 on DraftKings, $48 on Yahoo. Oddly enough, I don't have much of an issue with taking him in FanDuel and DK. I don't love the price tags or anything, but I don't have any interest in him on Yahoo. Any interest whatsoever for Kawhi?
If I get some, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, if I get some, that's fine. Obviously, I think that he's a good play. I think he's a little cheap on DraftKings at 92. I would rather play Kawhi than play Kemba at that price.
Sure.
But I think that I will find plenty of things that I like better than Kawhi.
Yep, I agree. Siakam? Ibaka? Ibaka, I guess, on DK looks pretty nice at 5,700.
Yeah, I like the price tag on Ibaka. I was just pulling up that game against Toronto to see how those minutes ended up coming out. But yeah, so I mean, 30 minutes from Ibaka, like We expected 11 to Monroe, so you got 7 to 8 minutes at center from Siakam, which is really nice. Um, yeah, so I mean, I think both those guys are fine. I think that Ibaka at the cheaper price tag is more appealing. Plus,
Van
at Orlando.
Van Vliet, 5,500 on FanDuel looks good. 5,600 on DK looks less good. $19 on Yahoo looks fine.
Yeah,
Care at all about Van Vliet?
FanDuel, I think it's just an egregious price tag. I know he sucked last game, but he still played 38 minutes. And when he plays alongside Kawhi without Leonard, it's not, I mean, without Lowry, it's not like he's, a permanent monster or anything. But if he's going to play 36 to 38 minutes, it's just a price tag that it makes it hard for him to fail,
Okay.
even though he succeeded last game.
Sure. Anybody else?
No.
Same. Get out of here. To your Washington Wizards. 111 implied total for the Wizards. 105.5 for the Bulls. God, this is a battle of the two most dysfunctional franchises in basketball right now. We'll start with Wall. 9,600 on FanDuel, $9K on DK, $41 on Yahoo. I mean, I love it. If I try to put like their season-long performance out of my head and not think about them as being the Wizards, this is a fantastic spot for John Wall. With that said, it doesn't make me confident.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll probably get a good amount of Wall just because it is a good matchup, and you can't ignore the minutes that he plays and the rates that he has over the last month.
Yeah.
Coinciding with Dwight Howard being out. So he projects really well. It's just that it is the Wizards, and who the hell knows? But you probably get 38 minutes in a competitive game. You get a usage rate around 30%. Over the last month, he has a 44% assist percentage as well. Yeah, I mean, it's tough not to like him. I'm going to have him projected for over 50 points.
Ooh, that's big. Such a homer.
Holy hell, I have him at 55. If I use his rates over the last month, I get him to 54.5 DraftKings points.
Yeah, he'll probably pop up a little bit for you at that rate.
Yep, time to not register tournaments tonight.
Same story for me for Bradley Beal. 8,400 on FanDuel, 7,800 on DK, $35 on Yahoo. No problem grabbing these guys. The Bulls are really, really, really bad.
Yeah, and we have Scott Brooks going back into kill Bradley Beal mode again. In that game against the Pistons, he sat for about 3 minutes the entire game. Played 44.9. So I'm still feeling confident in projecting him for 40 minutes, knowing he can get more than that. And it just makes it so that he's a really appealing play at 7,800 when you're going to get like 40 plus minutes.
Let's lump everybody else together. Ariza, Morris, Bryant, Green, Satoransky. Anything here for you?
I think Green's interesting. I'm looking at that rotation, but he was in foul trouble basically that entire game. He picked up 2 fouls in his first stint, picked up a third after a minute in his second stint, picked up a fourth to start the third quarter, and then he never came back into the game. And Keefe played a bunch. Yeah, you just got the minutes kind of distributed to other guys. But I think that normally you're going to get around 30 minutes out of Jeff Green, not especially, but I think you get around 30 minutes out of Jeff Green here. His price tags come down. He's 4,100. I think that's fine. I think Keefe at 4,400 is fine as well.
Yeah.
He didn't play all of his minutes at center last game. Actually, he played almost none of them, but I think that probably had more to do with Jeff Green's foul trouble than anything. Like, I don't expect Jan Mahinmi to play 28 minutes here. So I think that you get more Keefe at the 5. That means, against Carter and Robin Lopez. So, 4,400 for Keefe, I think is perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's a really nice price on DK. No interest really at 5,600 on FanDuel. $15 on Yahoo is okay if you get it because they're playing the Bulls. Anything for Thomas Bryant or anybody or Ariza?
If I get some Ariza, it's okay just because he's playing 38 minutes probably. Usage has been up a little bit with Washington too. I don't know if that continues, but he plays enough minutes where it's tough for him to let you down. But the price tag is high enough now that he's not like the really, really easy value option anymore. Like, I would rather save over $1,000 and go to Green or Keefe.
Yeah, needing 40 from Ariza to have him in like a really good tournament lineup is a tough ask sometimes. Yeah. And not sometimes, well, always.
All the time, yeah.
All right, to the Bulls. where they play tonight. Marking in $7,400, $7,200, and $28. I'd be happy to get him. Not a priority whatsoever for me, but it is a nice pace-up spot for the Bulls.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can roster guys against the Wizards, it's really appealing.
Yeah.
Zach LaVine being back kind of makes it a little bit muddier overall, just because I'm not concerned really about him taking minutes from people. It's just that he takes usage from guys, but it's still a really nice spot. If I were going to game stack any of the 7 o'clock games, it would be this one.
Yeah.
I think that both teams are just so bad defensively. It has the potential, and Washington plays so fast. It has the potential, if it takes Washington's pace, to really kind of blow this 215 total out of the water.
I'm trying to see who else. Do you want to do anything with LaVine at 6,500?
Yes, play a lot of him.
Okay, I figured as much.
Yeah, back in the starting lineup, played I think 26 minutes last game off the bench. I assume he gets like 34 minutes here. And
I put him in for 32. I wanted to be at least mildly past. He still pops as like a really good value at 32. So
yeah. Well, I mean, he was playing. I mean, Dunn was out, I guess, but he was playing like 38 before the injuries. So
yeah,
I still like, even if you go to 34, I think that there's still room for him to play more than that.
Oh, absolutely. I want to be, overly cautious with LaVine, because it seems like the Bulls are the type of organization that are going to be overly cautious with their players' health.
Yeah, that's fair.
$29 on Yahoo for LaVine and $7,600 for him on FanDuel are not super appealing price points for me, but the $6,500 on DK, I can get there. Same for Wendell Carter, $4,800 on DK, $14 on Yahoo. I'd be happy to try him out and hope that he doesn't pick up 4 fouls in the first 4 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a good spot for opposing bigs. Like,
Yeah.
he should get a bunch of rebounds. The only issue is the playing time. But he played. It's tough to say. I guess LaVine was on the bench. So yeah, I mean, basically the starters didn't really play the fourth quarter. You got a couple minutes from Markkanen, you got like a minute from Dunn in that last game, but other than that, you didn't really get much. So I mean, I think if you're going to get like 28 minutes from Carter potentially, it makes him a perfectly fine play at 4,800.
Yeah. Anything else out of the Bulls or this game?
Justin Holiday's too cheap for 36 minutes against the Wizards. I'd rather play Justin Holiday at 4,900 than Trevor Ariza at 56 or whatever it was.
Ugh, I agree with you. Both of those things sound not palatable.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying like I can't wait to play Justin Holiday, but
I get the sense we'll find better $5,000 guys in these next couple of games.
Yeah. He's the same thing as Trevor Ariza, just in a better spot and cheaper.
Yeah, I would, if I'm going to be playing those guys, it's probably as part of having more of this game instead of like a lone Justin Holiday lineup.
Yeah, I hope so.
Alrighty, to the Heat we go. Battle of the jilted LeBron lovers. I don't know. 104 implied total for the Heat. 94.5 for the Cavs. Jesus, they're terrible. Oh my God, 94.5. What year is this?
So in 2015 dollars, that's like 78 or something.
Yeah, that is just bad. We'll start with Miami, but one caveat: we might see Tristan Thompson tonight. I have him in. So there's that. That'll muck up like Larry Nance's future potentially. Maybe. Who knows? I don't trust anything the Cavs are doing, but I think it is relevant to think about for at least Whiteside. The Whiteside is $8K on FanDuel, $7,100 on DraftKings, and $26 on Yahoo. I think he looks great for $26 on Yahoo. What do you think of Whiteside tonight in this spot?
I like it. I mean, the minutes have been coming back. He's played the fourth quarter, I think 3 or 4 games in a row. Got up to 30 minutes even against Serge Ibaka, which I think is a good sign, because Ibaka is someone that, if potentially he could have not gotten extra minutes against. If Thompson plays, it makes the matchup worse, but it also makes it really easy for Whiteside to stay on the floor. But also against Memphis, you got Ante Zizic starting, so they went bigger there. You had, and it's not like Larry Nance is like a true stretch 5 either. So I think it's a spot where Whiteside should play around 30 minutes again. And I agree with you, the price tag's just too low.
Yeah, Whiteside's listed as probable for today. Not best I could tell, not a game time decision. I'd be shocked if he doesn't go. But if he doesn't go, that just actually makes the Heat interesting. So I'd prefer he sat, honestly.
If he doesn't go, just play Bam Adebayo.
Yeah. Lots of other guys having some really nice value, in my opinion, at least on Yahoo. Josh Richardson, $20 on Yahoo, I think is a really nice price. Justice Winslow for 16, I think is feasible. James Johnson at the flat minimum, probably one of my, I don't want to say favorites because he's James Johnson, but like I love him at the minimum price. Tyler Johnson at the minimum on Yahoo. I think all of those things are really reasonable. Tyler Johnson's prices are insane. $4,700 on FanDuel, $6K on DraftKings, and $10 on Yahoo. He's all over the map.
Yeah, where did those minutes come from last game?
They're not basically from Magruder and Derek Jones.
Oh, okay, yeah. Magruder played 14 minutes. Okay.
I can't believe I said Magruder and not McGruber there because that's a really difficult thing in my mind.
Yeah, so I mean, James Johnson, I agree with you, played 30 minutes or 29 minutes again. Justice Winslow continues to be appealing. He's essentially playing 32 minutes of point guard.
Yeah.
Price tags come up.
6,500 on FanDuel I don't like, but 5,800 on DK I can get there.
Well, the problem though is that like on DK, him being a small forward doesn't really carry any value, whereas it does on FanDuel.
That's true. Yeah, small forward is a wasteland. And Yahoo, I mean, don't feel bad about grabbing him for 16 against the Cavs. There's a lot to like for Miami, even though it's a kind of a major pace down spot.
Yeah.
Cool. Who's your favorite play out of Miami that's not named Hassan Whiteside? Because I assume it's Whiteside.
Yeah, it is Whiteside. James Johnson.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I'm going to end up with a lot of him on Yahoo tonight. All right, let's go to Cleveland. I'm assuming Tristan Thompson plays 20 minutes. It doesn't really affect anything from a fantasy perspective if he does or he doesn't, outside of the way that you would look at Larry Nance. And I don't even see Larry Nance as particularly viable one way or the other. So do you see Tristan Thompson's status really mattering for anybody on the Cavs?
Not really, especially because of how they played against Memphis. You got like 21 and a half minutes from Ante Zizic. So that's you can just really easily dump those minutes to Tristan Thompson. And even if he were to play more than that in his first game back, you're not having to find that many more minutes for him. So right. Yeah, I don't think it has a big impact, especially as far as guys I'd want to play. Like Thompson's expensive enough. I'm not going there. Nance is expensive enough. I'm not playing him regardless. If I got to anything on Cleveland, it would be trying to guess which not very good guard has the best game.
Yeah.
So Thompson doesn't really affect any of that.
Question from chat. This one's for you. Why would you play players from a game with a low total? Burning money.
Because I like fantasy points and it doesn't totally correlate with implied totals.
That would be my answer as well. The most important piece of all of this is people's price. I don't care if this total is, 160. If they price Hassan Whiteside at the flat minimum, certainly doesn't matter.
Yeah. And also because people think like whoever it was that asked that question, and you get major ownership discrepancies just because a game has a low total. People think it means that no individual player in that game will have a good game.
Yep, exactly. Is it a less advantageous spot than other games with high totals? Yes, there are less fantasy points that go around. That does not mean that someone cannot hit value. The price of those players is the most important tenet of all of this.
Yeah. Like the crazy thing about using projections for NBA is that they factor in Vegas totals and matchups, and then they give you a number, and you compare it to the price, and some guys still come out being good plays.
Yeah, the Vegas totals for both of these teams are a main part of everything that I output as my projection, so it's taken into account. Clarkson on Yahoo, $17. Alec Burks, $12. He's $4,400 on FanDuel. You want to use these guys, fine. It's not sexy. It's not a good spot, but I mean, somebody's got to shoot. I wish I had a better take than that, but like that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, this team, there's no reason. Like it's not even like when it's not even like 3 weeks ago or whatever when it was like, okay, these guys all suck, but they have 8 bodies and they're all going to play 36 minutes. Like nobody on this against Memphis, which was a competitive game, nobody on this team played more than 31 minutes.
God, I hate the Cavs.
Honestly, I like it more like this than when we have to like figure out which one to play.
That's very true. I'd rather be able to disregard them easily.
Yeah, and they're all kind of priced up now too. Like even Alec Burks at 4,600. Realistically, on a 10-game slate, you would need like a 40-point game to actually be concerned. Like, oh shit, I don't have Alec Burks tonight,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty comfortable taking my chances that like nobody on this team goes for like 40 to 50 fantasy points.
True. You ready to talk about real games?
Yeah, thank God.
And, this one is close to a real game. The Minnesota Timberwolves hosting the Atlanta Hawks. 119.25 implied total for the Hawks. Nope, for the Wolves. 110.25 for the Hawks. Got my animals mixed up. Start with the Karl Anthony Towns. 9,600 on FanDuel. 9,600 on DraftKings. $41 on Yahoo. 9,600 for Karl Anthony Towns on FanDuel is a fantastic price. I think 41 on Yahoo looks pretty good too. I don't have a problem using Towns at all. I mean, he should do whatever he wants against Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't. He's like a 1.3 fantasy point per minute guy, plays 36 to 38 minutes in competitive games, great spot. And despite what some people in chat would have you think, he does have tournament winning upside as evidenced by the 70 fantasy point games he has put up twice in the last like 15 games. So I will probably have a lot of Towns again, just like I always do.
Yeah, this is as good of a pace up spot as the Wolves can find themselves in. They have the highest implied total on the slate, and it doesn't. And like Towns isn't even priced egregiously, especially on FanDuel. But
people don't roster him. Like
it's craziness.
People find reasons for it, but and obviously the center position is almost always deep enough that it's justifiable. But when you have that whole like group in the Towns range of really high upside centers, he's like always the lowest owned regardless of matchup.
It's insanity. Love Towns here. Best center option on FanDuel, probably, if I had to guess.
You said he was what, 96?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think it's close.
I haven't even looked at FanDuel pricing, so I don't have it in front of me. But
$100 cheaper than Drummond.
Yeah.
$200 cheaper than Jokic, but just a much better game for Towns than the Joker. And then you're dropping down to like Randall and Whiteside.
Yeah, it's Towns really, 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 really easily.
Yeah. Derrick Rose doesn't have a narrative for tonight. 7,500 on FanDuel, 71 on DK, and 27 on Yahoo. Like, if I get it, it's fine just because of how advantageous the spot is, but he's not a priority.
I think at 7,100 on DraftKings, I'll probably get a lot. I don't think he plays 38 minutes in regulation. I don't think he comes back in up by 25 points in the fourth quarter because they're not playing Chicago.
Yeah.
But I mean, if Atlanta can hang in this game, I think you do get like 34 minutes from him. And since the Jimmy Butler trade, 28.5% usage, 30% assist percentage without Jeff Teague on the floor. In this matchup, I think I'll probably get a pretty decent amount of Derrick Rose.
Yeah, 7,500 on FanDuel is a tough one for me. I want to see who's around him. He's the fifth most expensive point guard on a slate. Man, if I told you before the season started that Derrick Rose could be the fifth most expensive point guard on a 10-game slate, what would you think happened?
I went into a coma and lost 3 years.
Or somehow found a time machine and woke up in 2012.
Yeah.
Chris Dunn is $100 more expensive than Rose. This is the tier basically. Dunn, Rose, Murray, Dinwiddie, all in the 7,400 to 7,600 range. No one else is within $1,000 on either direction. So
you said Dunn, Rose, Murray, Dinwiddie.
Dunn, Rose, Murray, Dinwiddie. I mean, I prefer Rose out of that group of four. I don't really like that group of four, just like in general.
Yeah, I mean, on the thing with FanDuel is that you have, I assume, Lonzo Ball still really cheap.
Yeah.
And Fred VanVleet's 5,500. Yep. I hate VanVleet, but the price tag's really nice. So
Tyler Johnson at 4,700 too, if you really want to spend less.
Yeah, and especially like FanDuel has actually done a really good job this year of pricing their guys correctly. So it's been a lot more difficult to find value there than on DraftKings. So when they give you a position like point guard where there is a really good lower tier, it's kind of important to actually take advantage of that to open up points at other positions.
6,500, 6,221 for Covington is fine. This strikes me as a good game for him. Just potential for steals and pace up. That's the kind of spot I would try to get more of Covington. Certainly
Yeah.
not a priority, but just good in the mid tier of pricing.
Yeah. Finally playing big minutes again, too.
Yeah. Any Wiggins for you? 61, 58, and 20?
I mean, I don't really rule out anyone when they play against the Hawks,
Right.
but he would be the guy that I like him less than everyone we've talked about.
Okay. What are they doing with Saric and Taj right now?
Hell if I know.
I thought Saric was going to start getting additional run, and now it's going the other direction.
Yeah, seems like it's kind of been like matchup and or hot hand dependent. If anything, I would guess Taj gets more minutes here because John Collins will absolutely eat Dario Saric alive.
Yeah. I put them both in for 25, and then I stopped caring because it really won't matter.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with them. Let's talk about Atlanta. Unless you've got like a Josh Okogie take or something.
I don't.
Okay. John Collins, 8,200 on FanDuel, 7,700 on DK, and $34 on Yahoo. I don't have interest here at that price point anymore. He's fine, but like that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, 77 on DK is okay. It's just when you compare him, it's a nice price point. It's just relative to other guys, it's probably going to be a secondary play. It is easily my favorite play on Atlanta, though.
Yeah, like would you rather have Collins at 7,700 or Kyle Kuzma at 7,700?
Kuz.
Yeah. What about 7,800? Different positions, clearly. $7,800 Beal or Collins?
Beal because he plays so many minutes.
Yeah. Randall at 7,900 or Collins?
That gets close. Probably that's really close. Probably Randall.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. It's just tough. Too many guys around him in a game that's really not advantageous for them.
Yeah.
Not that the Hawks play
mean,
games that are good for them.
I wish I knew what the Wolves were going to do with that Gibson Saric rotation because I think that actually makes a difference for Collins. Like,
Oh, yeah.
if Saric plays 28 minutes, John Collins probably scores like 50.
Yeah, man, it's night and day in that spot. Lots of decent value from the Hawks on Yahoo. Bazemore at $21, I think, is fine. I hate Trae Young, but at $20, I think he's fine. Dedmon's only 15. I mean, the amount of value at center, both 5,500 on DK and $15 on Yahoo, can't beat that. Kevin Herter's flat minimum. Like if buckets start going, he's playing the minutes. It's not something I love, but if you're trying to have a bunch of this game, I don't know. Do you care about anybody else on Atlanta?
No. If I play guys from Atlanta, I want to be pairing them with guys from Minnesota. I don't think you have to do it the other way around. Like, I don't need guys from Atlanta just because I'm playing Towns. Atlanta has enough bodies where they can all give you mediocre games, but the game stays close. But if I'm trying to get a ceiling game from a John Collins or a Bazemore or a Trae Young or Dedmon, whoever, then if I get a ceiling game from them, there's a real good chance you're getting 38 from Towns.
Yep.
And that would be good. I think actually probably the guy that I would guess I get, Collins is my favorite play from Atlanta, but then just as far as roster construction and tournaments, I wouldn't be surprised if I end up with some $3,800 Jeremy Lin just because the point per minute production's there. And, if Young plays poorly and Lin gets more minutes, then it becomes a really good play.
Yeah, I don't hate it. He's looked really good as like the change of pace. They need to get him the hell out of Atlanta and put him on a real team to be an 18-minute guy off the bench. You look great for the Rockets right now, playing the
Or just
Austin
playing
Rivers
alongside
role.
Young.
Or just play him. I mean, that would work too.
Yeah, I mean, it's an awful team that has awful players at almost every position, but they refuse to play Lin alongside Trae Young.
Yeah, at least. Well, I mean, I guess they don't want to win, so play him enough that people can see that he's playing well. Flip him for whatever it is at the deadline. I mean, if they don't trade him, that's the most egregious thing that the Hawks have done this year.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's obviously I'm sitting here thinking about it like, how are they not playing like one of their best players?
Yeah, there's no advantage for them to play Jeremy Lin 30 minutes like he should.
It's not like they need to like develop him or anything. It's not like it's Sean Collins or Young.
They just need to show that he's healthy and still playing well, and he'll end up on, I don't know, the Pelicans stretch run or something.
So the thing that is weirdest to me, I guess, about how they're handling it is that they're not playing him minutes, but then they're still playing hot hand with him and Trae Young, where when Young's losing them a game, they just throw Jeremy Lin in.
Yeah, it's like they want to win once they get involved.
Right.
Which I've been down that road before. You don't care until you're in it, and then it's like, well, I don't want to lose now. I don't
Right.
mind if I don't mind if we planned to lose last night, but
Right.
now we're
Yeah,
down 6.
yeah, I played on some bad baseball teams where I'm just like playing for myself, and then suddenly it's like a 1-run game in like the 7th, and it's like, okay, guys, like I care, like let's go.
Yeah, I'll pay attention again.
Yeah.
I did that once. Just opted out of my warm-up pitches. Coach was not happy. I was like, I don't need him. We're getting fucking smacked. Yeah, you pulled me. Didn't go well. New Orleans Pelicans hosting the Dallas Mavericks. 117.75 implied total for the Pels. 112.75 for the Mavs. Do you have Dennis Smith in yet?
I think so.
Okay.
I do not.
Okay. I assume you don't think he plays then.
I mean, I think it's like 50-50.
Yeah. I just like they keep talking about him in these write-ups like, "Oh yeah, he's probably back soon." And then it's just like out. So, I don't know. We'll start on the Pels side. AD 12,600 on FanDuel, 11.6 on DK, and $58 on Yahoo. What do you do here? Because he's fantastic. If he didn't have even, and like he barely has a checkered injury history, people just overreact because he's the type of guy you roster a lot. He's not someone that slips through the cracks, but like plays giant minutes. I don't know. What do you do with AD today?
I think it depends on site. Kind of the same thing I had said last time. It's not that I dislike this matchup for him or anything, and I think he's a great play in a vacuum. But on DraftKings, the mid range is just so good that roster construction wise, finding that extra money for Davis and sacrificing a couple of those mid range guys that can score 50 doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
So I doubt that I get to much Davis, and it's not a comfortable place to be. But I really think that if you get 65 fantasy points from Davis, it's not like it's vaulting you up in tournaments to where like you have an advantage. You still need those other guys to do like really, really well to make up for what's probably going to happen in that like $7,000 to $9,000 range.
What do you think of him for 58 on Yahoo?
With all the value on Yahoo, I think that the raw points kind of matter more than point per dollar.
Yeah, and like for him to get to 78 is not an outlandish game for Anthony Davis. Drew Holiday, 9,400 on FanDuel, 8,900 on DK, $44 on Yahoo. I don't care if I get him, but it's not really that appealing to me.
Yeah, same boat here.
Lot.
Yeah, it's just relative to other guys, So he's basically on DraftKings. He's basically the same price as John Wall. They'd probably play similar minutes, but he's more expensive than all those like 8K guys we talked about.
Yeah.
It's just tough for him to like beat that entire range when you're also giving points.
Yeah, whether it's Devin Booker, Blake, Oladipo, DeRozan, Vooch, even Randall in this game. These are all guys that are priced below him and, probably have very similar, if not the same ceilings.
Right.
Speaking of Randall, 8,400 on FanDuel, 79 on DK, $39 on Yahoo. I think he looks pretty nice tonight.
Yeah, finally got back to 37 minutes last game. Davis only played 34, but
he had to poop again.
Did he actually go to the locker room?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, Jahlil Okafor played 17 minutes, so like that's where you can take some minutes from if you're trying to get Davis like to 38 and Randall to 36. So yeah, I think
how's Okafor been so far? Do you know?
I assume I don't know. I assume he's been competent as a scorer and he's been a windmill defensively. I think that's a safe.
I want to look him up and just see like what his on-off plus-minus stuff is so far this season.
He was +1 against Dallas last game.
Well, that'll work. That's better than -1.
Yeah, Davis was -12.
Yeah. Well, then obviously Jahlil Okafor should be the cornerstone of this team.
Yeah. Trade Davis to the Lakers and just build around Jahlil.
I mean, trade Davis somewhere soon. We had this conversation mildly in Slack this morning. Just get it over with.
Yeah.
Just move the team to Seattle and you'll be fine. That's what's going to happen. And it's a benefit for everyone. Especially the owners of the Pels, who would probably love to have the value of their franchise double by moving it to Seattle instead of being stuck in New Orleans. Come on, NBA.com. Okay, so Does this really not show his on-off numbers? Oh, offensive. Okay, so Pelicans' offensive rating is 2 points higher when Okafor is off the floor, and defensive rating is a point higher. So yeah, half a point in net rating, still just shit. That's all. I don't have any hot takes. Eton Moore for 4K on DK, $12 on Yahoo. Fine with that.
I mean, it's okay. It's not anything I'm gonna have in any sort of
No. No. I'm just thinking about guys that I don't mind rotating through in that like 4,000 and lower range.
Yeah, I mean Miller should play more minutes.
Yeah, $3,910 on Yahoo. It's pretty much just AD and Randall here.
Yeah.
Sorry, Drew. I'm a big fan though. Love your game. All right, Hallelujah. 8,500 on FanDuel, 8,700 on DraftKings, $35 on Yahoo. It's a tough sell for me. His price is climbing way too high. And I have Dennis Smith in, so like that makes it even less appealing.
Yeah, I mean that obviously makes a difference, but the thing for me is just the price point and the minutes he plays. Obviously he can score 50 fantasy points, but you're going to get like 32 to 34 tops probably minutes from Luka. So Bradley Beal is less expensive and going to play 8 to 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
It's just when you think of it in terms of guys around him that are just going to play more minutes and are productive players, it's really, really tough to get to him, especially because people keep rostering him. There have been a few slates lately, and it makes sense because he's playing so well. But there have been several slates where I'll end up with some Luka in lineups, and I'll look at a lineup and be like, oh, cool, like I'll have low owned Luka here, and then the game starts, and it's just like, oh, he's not low owned at all. Why do I have him?
Yeah, I love him. I hope he plays well. He's just at a point now where it's really hard to justify with everything else around him.
Right.
I don't really have much interest in DeAndre, although 25, like his price is fine, 7,500, 6,800, and $25 on Yahoo. I don't have an issue with it. I don't have an issue with Barnes at any of the prices across the sites. They're just not priority prices for me.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
And then I do have Dennis Smith in. I think at the very least we want to talk about it because we don't have Wes Matthews tonight. He is already out. If Dennis Smith is in, he's 5,300 on FanDuel, 5K on DK, and only $11 on Yahoo. I don't think that we need to say anything about what you should do with him on Yahoo. He's $11. If you know that he's playing, even if you know that he's on a minutes limit, I think $11 is still worth a peek. What do you think of him on FanDuel and DraftKings at those prices if he's playing?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's fine. I assume with how long he's been out, I assume that they're not going to bring him in and then like baby him. I assume when he comes back, he's good to go, which for him still means like 28 to 30 minutes. But
yeah, I have him in for 28 right now.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think he ends up being decent. Like I still wouldn't have him as a priority.
Okay. Yahoo though, priority.
Yeah.
Okay. So who's the biggest benefactor for Wes Matthews being off the floor?
Dorian Finney-Smith.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. I was leading you to, is it Dorian Finney-Smith or is it JJ Barea?
I think it's either DFS or Devin Harris, but okay. Yeah, I think it's DFS.
I don't know. Do you listen to Reddick's podcast at all?
No.
He did another mailbag episode for the holiday season, and one of the questions was just like, I might not even get the question right, but it's not important. He starts talking about like other guys on other teams that like he likes to watch that like most people don't care about. And one of the guys he mentioned was like how awesome he loves watching JJ Barea play.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty fun to like hear him talk about Barea's game and like just the way that he approaches basketball and how he looks in a Rick Carlisle offense and stuff. So it was always, I feel a very similar way about JJ Barea. So it was really interesting.
Yeah. And he's fun in DFS because like whenever you have JJ Barea in a lineup, it's like you're looking at it and you're just like, man, I wish I didn't have Barea here because he's not really doing anything, and then by the end of the game, it's just like, oh, when did JJ Barea get to 35 fantasy points?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden he picked up 9 points, like 2 steals, 4 assists, 4 boards in like 8 minutes of game time, like his second quarter rotation. And all of a sudden it's like, oh shit. Like,
right.
Barea's doing one of those.
Yeah. Like my Twitter DMs, like I had like 25% Barea last game. And my Twitter DMs are just like, God, I'm such an idiot for playing so much Barea. And then it's just like, I can't believe I got Barea at 3%. Like, what is wrong with these people?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're we're probably on an island on the day-to-day JJ Barea love.
Yeah. Well, so over the last month, he's played 264 minutes. Per 36, he's averaging 42 DraftKings points. Like, he's got a 30% usage rate and a 46% assist percentage. He's ridiculously productive when he plays. He's as long as Dennis Smith Jr. is out, it's really easy for him to take minutes because, like, that's been the issue is that he basically just splits the point guard minutes. So
Yeah.
with Dennis Smith, it's less likely that he plays bad than Jalen Brunson, who now is not even in the rotation. So it's just easier for Barea to get that 26 to 28 minutes when Dennis Smith Jr. is out, obviously.
Barea on the floor this year, +4 net rating. Off the floor, Mavs -2. Play this man. Trade Dennis Smith Jr. Whatever you can get. Package Dennis Smith Jr. and Wes Matthews so you can get up there in salary. Get a quality wing. Move JJ Barea back to the starting lineup and just roll people. Team JJ Barea. Okay, let's say Dennis Smith does not play. Then we're out Dennis Smith as per usual, and we're out Wes Matthews. I think that's a pretty big bump to Harrison Barnes at that point. Does that open up anyone else for you, whether that's like Maxey, or do you ever get to a point where you want Dorian Finney-Smith?
I like Maxey. I mean, he started with Dennis Smith Jr. out last time, and this is a matchup where that makes all the sense in the world. He played 24 minutes. There was the potential really for him to get even more run, and I think that he could be a beneficiary, like an indirect beneficiary of Matthews being out too, just because Finney-Smith has to soak up more minutes in Matthews' absence, and maybe it makes it a little bit easier to get Maxey a couple more minutes. So I think 24 to 26 minutes is a really reasonable projection for Maxey here. He played 24 last game. He's projecting as almost a point per minute guy for me. So I think at 3,400, that's a really, really good price tag.
Yeah, I agree. If Dennis Smith is out and you can get him up into that 24 range, he becomes a really, really nice value. A Y-Bank in chat said, trade DSJ to the Magic for John Isaac. That seems like a pretty reasonable trade for both teams.
Yeah.
Thins out the herd a little bit in the Magic. They need a young lead guard.
God, Dallas becomes such a nightmare to take wings against.
Yeah. I like that. Let's do it. Let's get that trade in. Can anybody check and see if that trade works in NBA 2K? Because that's pretty much all that matters. All right, 3 games to go, unless you have any other Pelicans Mavs takes.
No.
There we go. The Denver Nuggets hosting the San Antonio Spurs. I truly forgot that this game was on the slate. I don't even remember seeing both teams' names when I entered minutes this morning. 109.25 implied total for the Nugs. 105.25 for the Spurs. Jokic, 9,800 on FanDuel, 8,800 on DK, $47 on Yahoo. I'd say ignore him largely on Yahoo, and feel free to take as much as you'd like on FanDuel and DraftKings.
I'm lower on him than you are, I think.
Weird take here from me talking about Jokic.
Well, the reason is just how the last game went, and it's not that he had a bad game. And I haven't gone back to rewatch it, but I saw tweets about it that San Antonio was basically just keeping the ball out of his hands and double and triple teaming him and just not letting him do anything. It's obviously the same matchup here, and I had alluded to it yesterday when we were talking about James Harden being just the entire Houston offense. Harden brings the ball up the floor. Like, you can't front James Harden and keep the ball out of his hands. When you're talking about a big that they kind of run the offense through and that does everything, if you don't want Nikola Jokic to be able to beat you, you can make that happen. The Hawks did a really good job of it last year against Anthony Davis. And in that game against San Antonio on the 26th, Jokic had a 15% usage rate. He shot the ball 5 times, picked up 10 assists. But I just think that it's a really unappealing spot.
Okay. I find that $8,800 price point like really appealing, but I guess if you think about it in terms of what's around him, would you rather have Jokic or $8,600 Drummond?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that ends up being really close if you're concerned about the game plan the Spurs had in the last game.
Yeah. Let me filter this down by centers.
And it's also worth keeping in mind that the Spurs, even though the game ended up being close, the Spurs won the game easily. So it's not like they are likely to scrap what they did.
So let's talk about then what you do like from Denver. And everyone on Denver priced way better on DK than they are on FanDuel. Jamal Murray, 7,400 on FanDuel, 66 on DK, and 29 on Yahoo. That looks really nice for 6,600 on DraftKings.
Yeah, so many minutes for Murray. He only played 27 in that last game, but he came out when San Antonio was on like a 23-4 run, and then he never came back. I think that, in a more competitive game, you probably get him playing closer to the 36 to 38 minutes that he normally does. Plumlee's price tag is really nice. Jokic, like I said, I'm just scared of the price. There's upside. I'm just really scared of this matchup.
Is Plumlee the best play on Yahoo again today?
Is he still like $12?
$12.
Yes.
Okay, I agree. He projects to hit what I would say is his target score today. Like on the dot. Yeah. He's a 50-50 opportunity to exceed what I would love to get from him in a GPP winning lineup. You don't find those sorts of scenarios all that often.
No.
Yeah, 6,200 on FanDuel. Whatever. Like, I don't have a problem with it, but it's not great. 5,200 on DK looks pretty nice for Mason Plumlee. $12 on Yahoo. Just utter insanity. For a dude playing a basic, let's just say 30 minutes at a point per minute. Got to project him for 30. Be hard to project him much less than that. And if he's projected for 30 at $12, you best believe you should be smashing the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So do you think this would be an interesting test case for sort of what we talked about earlier? Not necessarily guys around that price, but what do you think Mason Plumlee's ownership looks like on Yahoo?
10 games, 30 to 40.
Okay. What was he at? I'm going to look it up from 2 nights ago or however long ago they played.
Completely unscientific guess, by the way, since I haven't made a lineup over there yet. But
fantastic. Did they play on Christmas or?
They played the 26th.
Okay. Let me see if I can find him. Sure, it was the 26th. Nope. Yeah. It would probably help if I checked the contest from the 26th. All right, Mason Plumlee was 42% owned on Wednesday,
which was also a 10-game slate, I think.
Yeah. I would guess that he's owned, and that was also against the Spurs. So very interesting. Do you think that would be more or less than that 40 number after last game? He put up 25.7 FanDuel points, or Yahoo points in this case.
Probably right around the same. Like it wasn't like people are going to go like, oh, he just crushed this matchup, I have to play him more. I would assume the people that figured out $12 Mason Plumlee was an easy play. Or it's probably about the same percentage today as it was on Wednesday.
Okay. So then let's finish off this thought process. If you knew that Mason Plumlee was going to be owned 40%, where do you want to be? So I think my answer is 80.
Right, yeah, more, unless there's like better options around them. But like even between him and Kurix, I'd rather have Plumlee.
Yeah.
Like if I had to fade one of them at that price point, it would be it wouldn't be Plumlee.
Agreed. Dwayne Dedmon's 15. I'd rather have Plumlee for 12 than Dedmon at 15, unless I found out that Dedmon was at like 5% ownership or something.
Is Len out again?
Yes.
Okay, I would take ownership wise. I think Dedmon's a really, really good pivot.
So I think that this is probably then a really nice spot to think about. I would be shocked if Dwayne Dedmon is anywhere near 40% owned if Plumlee holds that ownership.
I think if Dedmon's like 20 or 25 and Plumlee's like 40 or 45, I think Dedmon's a better play.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Something to keep in mind there for everybody.
Yeah, because
that was the bad Lonzo Ball example from earlier.
Right. Yeah, and on a side note, it's a good spot for Dwayne Dedmon. We kind of skipped over him because his price tag on like DraftKings FanDuel had gotten expensive. But where you can get him for cheap, it is a good spot.
Yeah, circling back to him right now, 6,400 on FanDuel, 5% ownership, 5,500 on DraftKings, 20% expected ownership, and then just a $15 price tag on Yahoo.
Wait, you said 55 on DraftKings?
Yeah.
Why was I seeing him at like 64?
I don't know, because you looked at FanDuel?
No, it's because my eyes jumped to Trae Young.
Yeah. Either way.
So, yeah, 55 on DraftKings I think is actually a really good price. I wish I had talked about that before.
We're projecting 20% ownership, so at that point, all we're doing is pointing out chalk.
Well, yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna keep a close eye on my Dwayne Dedman, Mason Plumlee exposure for
Yeah.
tonight. Because today will be the day I take Les Plumlee and he smashes, and Dwayne Dedman gets a hangnail, and Amari Spellman plays 28 minutes.
You can also play both of those guys.
It's true. Thank you, FanDuel, for that. Honestly, I probably will have them in, I don't know, a few of the 10 that I get to play.
Yeah.
Shit, what game? Denver and San Antonio. There we go. Nope. Denver's abbreviation is not DNE. So we talked about Jokic, Murray, Plumlee. There's a lot more value on the Nuggets in terms of price point for DK. So are you looking at anyone like Monty Morris or Wancho or Malik Beasley?
Not with any sort of regularity. They're expensive enough where they kind of end up they could very easily be decent point per dollar plays. I just don't know how much upside any of those guys have to where I would want to play them at that price tag. Like the like 4,500 to 5K range on DraftKings is, I think, one of the most like deceptive prices that there is as far as like what you need and what people think you need. Because I think it's just natural to kind of like round it to like, oh, he's less than 5K. Like I'll be happy with like 25 to 30 points when really you want like 40. And it's tough to see those guys getting there.
What do you think of Monty Morris for $13 on Yahoo?
There's just such better like compared to other guys that, even other positions though. He's cheap, yeah, but there's a ton of good value on Yahoo.
Agreed. Damn it, I'm trying to send a text. I'm doing a shit job of it. After football ends, send. There we go. Let's go to the Spurs side. DeRozan, 8,800 on FanDuel, 8,100 on DK, $35. I don't have much interest. LaMarcus Aldridge, 77, 7K, $28. I don't have much interest. I don't really have much interest in anything coming out of San Antonio. I guess Derek White for 3,800 on DraftKings is something you can look at, flat minimum on Yahoo, but do you want any part of the Spurs here?
Yeah, kind of. So DeRozan was like my highest owned guy on the entire slate on Wednesday. I won't be there this time, but I mean the price tag I think still a little bit low, assuming you get about 38 minutes in a competitive game. But with his price tag going up a little bit, you have LaMarcus Aldridge's price down to 7K on DraftKings. He played 32 minutes in the last game, but he sat almost the entire fourth quarter just because of game flow. He kind of came back in at the end. But I think that you can get like 34 minutes here if it's competitive. So I think the price tag on him is too low. And then we saw it happen, and it's obviously not someone that you want a lot of. But Jakob Poeltl did play minutes alongside LaMarcus Aldridge in that game. They actually closed, or no, sorry, they closed the third quarter together. So it makes it so you can get, like a 18 to 20 minute projection for Jakob Poeltl at 3,400. He's obviously a really productive player that comes with zero ownership, so I'll have some of him on DraftKings in tournaments probably.
Okay. Anything else here? It's not an appealing spot.
Nah.
2 games left. Phoenix Suns taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Everybody hit that like button while you're here if you haven't done that yet. And drop a comment in saying how awesome Adam and I are, because, well, we are. 108.5 implied total for the Suns, 115 for the Thunder. Start on the Sun side. It's a really nice pace game. The total is not as egregious for the Suns as I would have expected. Devin Booker is 9,500 on FanDuel, 8,500 on DraftKings, $36 on Yahoo. I'm fine with Booker on DK. I'm probably not super interested on either of the other sites.
Yeah, I'm fine with him in tournaments. I don't think he's like the best point per dollar play. I just think that there's so many guys around him that, it is a huge pace up spot, but it is a good Oklahoma City defense as well.
He's the most expensive shooting guard on FanDuel today.
Yeah, it just makes it so like the raw points are obviously there. The upside, I mean, but as far as, point per dollar plays, I think you can do better.
Agreed. Scanning for good stuff. DeAndre Ayton for $24, looks like it could be a good play on Yahoo, but then you start thinking about all of the Dwayne Dedmans and the Mason Plumlees of the world who have probably similar overall projections at half of the salary. So it
Right.
really makes it difficult to spend like a slightly incorrect amount on DeAndre Ayton against Oklahoma City.
Yeah, it's kind of just an awkward price point,
Yeah.
especially because it's not like it's a good matchup for him either.
No, not so much. TJ Warren, 7K on FanDuel, 63 on DraftKings, $23 on Yahoo. No problem getting him, but really this is it's a tough spot for Phoenix.
Yeah, there's nothing from the Phoenix side that I plan on prioritizing.
Okay. If I got a Flatman Bridges on Yahoo, I wouldn't freak out about it, but there are also a ton of options at $10, $11, $12.
Yeah. Also, for not that it really matters too much, since we said we're not that interested anyway, but Elliot Kobo is back to mess things up even more.
Perfect.
He played 24 minutes last game.
Now, Oklahoma City side, I believe we're going to have some interest. Russell Westbrook, 11.5 on FanDuel, 10.9 on DraftKings, 53 on Yahoo. Is Russ the best stud of the day?
I mean, cheaper than Davis, I kind of think so, especially when you factor in, Plumlee plays the same position as Davis, Dedmon plays the same position as Davis. Point guard is obviously deep, but on draft, well, I mean, I guess there's good value there too, like with Lonzo, obviously, who we haven't talked about. But yeah, I still don't know how much of him I'll get either, just because of how deep the slate is. But yeah, it's obviously a really good spot.
He's got my highest projection on any of the sites, even
Yeah,
higher
Davis,
than AD on DraftKings.
yeah, I have Davis by like a handful of points.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on Team Russ here. Nothing's
You're
slowing
always
him down
looking
on
Russ.
Phoenix. I'm regularly on Team Russ. Paul George, 10.6 on FanDuel, 99 on DK, and 48 on Yahoo. I'm under projecting him for sure, and I'm going to give him a boost, but God, he's starting to get really expensive.
Yeah, I have him projected for like almost 51 DraftKings points, but which obviously is really good. But just knowing what I have other guys projected for, it means I probably won't end up with much.
I wouldn't mind if I got him, but I have a hard time making him a priority. Similarly, Steven Adams, 72, 68, and 30. I'm fine. Schroeder
Right.
for 19 on Yahoo looks nice.
Yeah, I agree with that. 5,300 on DraftKings is fine too. This kind of strikes me as a game, at least on DraftKings, where ownership or where from an optimal that's a weird way of saying it. Where the mid range makes me want to go to those guys like as individual plays, and I kind of think that I'll end up with not as much of this game as I would have guessed going into the slate. This strikes me as a spot that I would love the game stack, just because Phoenix scoring comes from like 3 guys, and Oklahoma City scoring comes from like 2.5 guys. So if this game goes off, you have a very, very good chance of having the correct guys in your lineup.
Yeah, if this ends up being a Mikal Bridges game from Phoenix, like kudos. But if
Right.
it stays close, you assume that that's coming from Booker, Warren, Ayton, essentially, and OKC, Russ, George, Schroeder, and then sort of Adams.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's a great rebounding spot for Adams.
Right.
Yeah, I really, really do like Adams. Just because Ayton cannot box out to save his life, he doesn't rebound well. Adams, so much of his game is just offensive boards and putbacks, and he's very
There's just
good
so
at
many centers.
Right. That's the thing. Like, it's always tough to get to. There are so many centers now that just have such well-rounded offensive games that, from an upside standpoint, it's always tough to get to Adams because you can only do so much on putbacks.
Yeah.
But
Adams
like,
looks pretty good for cash, I would say.
Yeah, and I'd rather play him at that price point than like DeAndre Jordan, I think.
Yeah, I agree there. Want to close this out?
Yep.
Battle of Los Angeles. Repping the Clips shirt today. Shot out of a t-shirt cannon at a Clippers game last week. Now on my body. 110.25 implied total for the Lake Show. 114.75 for the Clips. I don't even know if that's a real line. I guessed that this morning. Let me double check it. Just remembered it wasn't out. 5.5 and 230. Oh, I'm under on the total at least. Almost got the spread right though. Let's try this again. 112.25 implied total for the Lakers, 117.75 for the Clips. We'll head to LA Lakers first. Too many LAs in this one. Kuzma, 7,200 on FanDuel, 7,700 on DK, $32 on Yahoo. Love him on FanDuel. Perfectly fine with him on DK or Yahoo. There's just too much opportunity to go around here.
Yeah, and huge minutes. Played 40 last night. I think
Yeah.
38 is a really safe projection. Like you're going to get 36 sometimes, you're going to get 40 sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has like a 27 or 28% usage rate without LeBron. I mean, and he's still got facilitators out there. So there's really just nothing not to like about Kuzma.
All right, I'm just going to say all these three then. Kuzma, Ball, Ingram. Do you have any aversion to having any of those three guys a ton?
Nope. Play them all. Play them a lot. Play them together. Play them apart.
Yep. I completely agree. Ball, 23 on Yahoo. Fantastic. Ingram, only 20. Probably one of my favorite plays on Yahoo of the entire slate. Just load up on these dudes. Do you have JaVale in?
I have him out right now.
Okay. I mean, it's not all that meaningful. If JaVale plays, you probably don't want a big man, although I wouldn't have too much of an issue with $15 JaVale on Yahoo. But if he's in, they all become uninteresting. If he's out, Zubats is still $12 on Yahoo.
Yeah, that's appealing. $5,900 Zubats on DraftKings, I can do without.
Yep. Yeah.
Especially I mean, it's obviously difficult to project exactly what the Lakers are going to do as far as going small, but we know the Clips are going to play, 26 to 28 minutes of Harrell, where you don't have to have Zubats out there.
Right. Josh Hart, 3,700 on FanDuel, 4,200 on DK, $10 on Yahoo. I mean, I think he looks really good for a Yahoo punt, or a FanDuel punt, rather. I assume you don't have much interest at 4,200, though, on DraftKings.
No, I mean, he's a FanDuel punt. I feel exactly the same way on DraftKings as I did yesterday, where point per dollar, I guess he's okay, but he's like a 0.7 fantasy point per minute guy playing 32 to 34 minutes on a team where I like 6 other players.
Right. And I'm fine with him on Yahoo at the flat minimum. Just, it's an opportunity thing.
Yeah.
But he's 5th in line on this team, so probably not going to get jammed in all that often. Any KCP or Lance? You going to be playing the air guitar tonight?
God, Lance only got 19 minutes last night. That was really frustrating. I still like him in tournaments. I like he was 19% on last night. I expect that will come down today since he didn't really do anything and it's a bigger slate. It's kind of like the Jeremy Lin situation where you have no idea how many minutes he's going to get, but he's such a productive guy that if you just are on the right side of variance with his minutes, then you're in a really good spot.
Yeah, his ownership is a key thing to pay attention to, because if he gets to like 15% ownership or something, then that's too much.
Right.
But you want to be able to get leverage on the field and not at, I got 30% Lance and he's 15% owned. That one will probably cost you money in the long term.
Right, exactly.
Clippers side now, unless you have any other Lakers thoughts besides just smash everyone.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Tobias Harris, 7,500 on FanDuel, 7,600 on DraftKings, $31 on Yahoo. It's another one of those guys where, like, if I get him, I get him, but I'd never have Tobias Harris as a priority. That dude is like vanilla ice cream, man. No matter where he is, it's just like, he's like a perfectly functional basketball player, both in real life and fantasy. It's just all blah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the 7,600 price tag on DraftKings is nice if like the Lakers didn't exist and Kyle Kuzma wasn't the same price.
Right. Yeah, they're not even comparable. Montrezl Harrell, 7,100 on FanDuel, 64 on DK, and $20 on Yahoo. Really like the $20 price tag on Yahoo.
Yeah, love the price on Yahoo. If I get him on DraftKings, it's fine, especially because he has power forward eligibility. The thing to keep in mind, though, is he has the ceiling, obviously, like he just scored 48 points against the Kings. He's still playing between 26 and 28 minutes. If you get to like 30, still he has to be really productive. He's a 1.2 fantasy point per minute guy, but for him to really be someone you want in tournaments at his price tag, especially on what I think is going to be a very, very high scoring slate tonight, you need him to greatly exceed that 1.2 fantasy point per minute average.
Do you have any interest in anything else from the Clippers? I don't.
Gilgeous-Alexander at 4,400 is kind of appealing.
13 on Yahoo. It's fine. This game's all about the Lakers.
Yeah, and so I guess it's worth pointing out. It's not that the Clippers are bad plays to me. It's just that they're kind of suboptimal compared to other guys. But this game stacks are absolutely fine here, but you shouldn't be uncomfortable if you have like 2 or 3 Lakers in a lineup and you don't have Clippers because there are so many other good spots to go to on this slate,
Yeah,
and the Lakers are so underpriced and the Clippers are correctly priced. It's really easy to envision an outcome where several Lakers smash their price tags. The Clippers do good, but not great. The game is close, the game's competitive, and you're just better off not having the Clippers in there.
exactly. Think that's it. I don't see any news that came out. Norm Powell out today.
Slate breaker.
Yep. So let's take a look at some props. DriveFantasy.com. NBA contest is up. First prop to look at. Ooh, I like this one. Andre Drummond, 30.5 points and rebounds. Even action on both sides.
30.5.
Yep.
I got him at 32.8.
Ooh.
So take the over.
I've got him at 32.5, so I will also take the over. What else we got here? Karl Anthony Towns, points, rebounds, assists, 34.5. Even action.
I'm going to guess I'm over on this one.
Yeah, I am by a lot.
Yeah, I have him at whatever, 20, 38. I have him at like 44 or something.
41.7 here. Smashy smash on Karl Anthony Towns.
Staying in that same game just because I see it right below him. 17.5 points on Derrick Rose. I have him at like 25.
What's the action there?
105 on the over.
Oh my god. Yeah, I've got him at 20.8. So, yeah. Give me some Derrick Rose in that one on the over. I want to try to find one that looks like we can differ on it. But we might differ here. Paul George, points plus assists, 30.5.
I don't even see that one.
You can trust me on this one that it's there.
No, I mean, I do. I just
30.5. Right under Russ.
Yeah, I'm smashing the over.
I have the under.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you have him at?
29.1.
I have him at 36.3.
Okay. There's some. We're on opposite sides for this one.
Never mind. I was looking at points plus rebounds. I have him at 31.4.
Okay, that feels more. Now we're in the same ballpark. You're still taking the over, but
yeah,
we're on opposite sides mildly. Do you have any others that stand out to you? We have one more to do.
Were you high on DeRozan tonight?
No.
All right, we might differ on that then. 31.5 points plus rebounds plus assists for DeRozan with 105 points to the over.
I'm taking the over. I have him at 32.2, so I'm just slightly over, and I get the over boost.
I have him at like 37.
Yeah, clearly you're going over.
Yeah.
Do they have any weird ones? Yeah, the old Serge Ibaka 1.5 blocks. What do I have him at? Probably right around there. Yeah, 1.4. Alrighty. We are done. Hit the like button, everybody. Drop a comment. We have a ton of content coming out today. Ben will be on at noon talking about betting on the NFL, college football, college basketball. We'll have From A to B doing a Week 17 preview at 2:30. We'll have On the Contrary starting around 3:30 with Alex and Chris and Evan Silva. Then Deeper Dive, Adam and Laffy from 4:45 to 6. And then myself and EMAC closing out this week. Live Before Locks from 6 to 7. Laffy will have the deep dive out for the subs. I don't know, early afternoon. Am I missing anything?
No, I think that's it.
Got it. Best of luck, everybody. We'll be around all day to talk shop. And good luck tonight. I'm coming for that number 1 spot. Bye.